There is a very experienced politician called Farah Maalim Mohammed. And Farah Maalim has got some extremely interesting things to say about General Miguna. Farah Maalim lost the Garissa Township seat in the last just concluded general elections of 2017 to his first cousin Aden Duale. Yep, they're first cousins. Now, according to my information, which I believe I've shared on this channel, there was a big mess up in Northeastern. It was very greatly affected by the computer guys. In fact, anybody who knows Garissa Township politics well will tell you that Aden Duale was cooked as we went into the general elections. Yeah, people did not want him. The electorate were fed up with him. And Farah Maalim had done his groundwork well, and the truth is, he won those elections. But then this is Kenya. Yeah, somebody just went into a computer room, did the usual, pop, 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 pop. Yeah, and Garissa Township had Aden Duale as the duly elected member of parliament. Maalim lost the petition, but the matter is still in court. He has appealed. Okay. Now, one of the reasons why a lot of people have ignored what Maalim has to say is because he's very outspoken. Yeah, he's one of the very few politicians in the country who speak their mind. Yeah, whatever the consequences. Now, I respect that, and indeed Kenyans should respect it, even if they do not agree with the views. For instance, Farah Maalim is on record as having rubbished the swearing-in of Raila Odinga on January 30th. At that point, he failed completely to read the public mood, or if he read it, he arrogantly decided to dismiss it. And he just said a lot of bad things about the swearing-in. It's inconsequential, there's no need, there's no point, etc., etc. Many people are puzzled because Farah Maalim is in the opposition. Yeah, indeed, is the deputy party leader of the Wiper party. And therefore, when you're in a party or a coalition, yeah, you tend to support the general view of the coalition, and you tend to stay mum about your own personal views. Yeah, that's the way to go. You support the party. You don't swim against the current. You don't say things against your own party and your own coalition. But that is Farah Maalim for you. But now, we know a few things we didn't know then. We know that the vast majority of politicians in the opposition were against the swearing-in. It's only that they didn't say it, but Farah Maalim spoke it as it was. Yeah, he said it. He said he was against it. Farah Maalim has also told Kenyans that Raila Odinga was bribed. Yeah. Now, this one got a lot of hate flying in his direction. Okay, and people have tended to ignore him. Farah gave a very interesting illustration. He said, or rather, a very interesting proof. By the way, he's a trained lawyer. Very interesting proof that actually the legend of Kenyan politics was bribed. He said that Raila addressed them, and he said, in front of all their hearing, that he was offered, I think, 20 billion, he refused, 25 billion, he refused, 30 billion, he refused. So Maalim's point was that if you want to buy something, and somebody tells it's not for sale, and then you give a price, it shows that that person, knows that you have a certain price, and all he has to do is reach that price. And it also shows that you're not serious, the cap is not for sale, because you're accepting these offers. As the person offers, you say no, which means you want them to give a high amount. Yeah, that's what Farah Maalim said. And of course, a lot of farm ODM supporters, a lot of Raila Odinga supporters were just livid. How dare he? How dare he say anything like that about Raila? Anyway, the latest is that he has something to say about Miguna. And to be very honest with you guys, this one really surprised me. Indeed, it shocked me. The long and short of what he has said is that General Miguna presents an excellent opportunity for Kenyans to break away from the old, same old of the political class. to break away from the stranglehold the political class have had over the masses, fooling them every time, shortchanging them every time. He said the political class are mostly friends. They just pretend they're enemies. Yeah? And they incite the public to hate the other politician supporters. While in private, they actually eat, dine together. They're together. They're friends. They're colleagues. They watch each other's backs. Farah Maalim says Miguna has proved that it can actually take on the political class and give Kenyans something fresh and different. And give Kenyans a real chance of walking away from that prison cell where we have been held by politicians. We have been held captive by politicians since independence. Now I find this very, very fascinating because to date, no other major politician has come out in full support of Miguna as the future of Kenyan politics, except outspoken Farah Maalim. Now we have said on this channel many times before that all politicians are the same. Indeed, these guys watch each other's backs. For instance, there's a very strict code of conduct. And one of the things that, one of the rules in that code of conduct is I don't expose your corruption deals and you don't expose mine. And so if Aden Duale has suddenly gotten very rich from 2013, by being close to the center of power, no opposition politician is going to expose him because they have their own dirty deals. Indeed, the latest example of how politicians protect each other is this Chacha scandal. You know, the gigolo called Chacha, lover boy. According to police investigators, this young handsome boy, has had sex with over 13 current female legislators. Many of them old enough to be his mother. Now, I've always wondered, why don't these female legislators expose some of the very, very crazy things that the male legislators do? Why don't they expose them? Well, now I have an answer. Because if they dare do that, if anybody wakes up one morning and decides, this code of conduct amongst legislators, amongst the political class, can go to hell, I'll expose somebody. If one of the lady legislators decides to do that, so you know what will happen? The male legislators will come out and say, look at who's accusing me. They have done this and that, and there's a guy called Chacha, etc., etc. It has to be watch my back, I watch yours. Or else. And meanwhile, the interests of the vast majority of Kenyans, the interests of the voters, is just flushed down the toilet. Sad as it is, that is the reality. Now, very, very interesting, this code of conduct extends outside parliament to people who are not elected legislators. Secrecy is very important. You have to be able to keep secrets. You have to be able to keep your mouth shut. And of course, when a rookie enters politics, the first time, of course, there must be a huge smell. The smell must be very offensive to them. However, as we know, it is human nature. If you live in a place which is stinking, sooner or later you get used to the smell. So that's what happens. And they continue and they join the political class. And meanwhile, the electorate, the voters, the vast majority of Kenyans are doomed. And that is why the political class are very scared of Miguna. And I'm talking about right across the board. I'm talking about Jubilee politicians and I'm talking about opposition politicians. They're all very scared of Miguna because he's the sort of man who will not keep his mouth shut. He has proved that he has never gotten used to the smell, and that he will not hesitate to tell the world what is really happening. And he doesn't seem to be scared of anybody. In one of his latest very sensational revelations, Miguna has told an interviewer that he believes that both President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga were responsible for his deportation. The truth is, it's becoming very clear why so many people are scared of Miguna. Indeed, terrified of the man. It is also interesting that some Kenyans have now started to look at Miguna as a leader in Kenya. Presidential material. Of course, other Kenyans have rubbished this. They have said Miguna is not presidential material. It doesn't look presidential. Of course, under the current political class which Miguna is fighting, it does not look presidential. It does not stand a chance, according to the current rotten system we have. But then Kenyans want a brand new start. Kenyans are very, very fed up of the rot in our politics. And many see Miguna as the perfect candidate to clean up things, to help clean up things, to help the vast majority of Kenyans clean up their politics, the politics in their country called Kenya. However, the truth is, nobody has become president of Kenya who looked like presidential material before they became president, except maybe Mwai Kibaki. Jomo Kenyatta was a jailbird, jailed for a crime he did not commit, because the white people hated him. And the reason why they hated him is that he was very traditional. He believed in traditional beliefs, like women's circumcision, etc., etc. Of course, these were the kind of traditional beliefs that horrified the Mzungu. Daniel Arap Moi was a very tall, almost clumsy man who spoke his English in a very hesitant way. He was also shy. Indeed, even when he was vice president, nobody ever imagined that Moi would make a president. But Moi not only became president, but ruled Kenya for a record 24 years. A record that will never be broken because the constitution has been changed to limit the term to 10 years, 2 5-year terms. Very few people ever imagined Uhuru Kenyatta as president. I mean, the ICC cases aside, even then, very few people imagined him as president. He never looked presidential. He was one of the guys. He liked to have a good time. But Uhuru Kenyatta became president. And so, saying Miguna can never be president is rubbish. You're saying that based on what? Because it is definitely not based on history. History tells us different, not only in Kenya but all over the world. And I've just given you examples of some past Kenyan presidents. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not making any predictions. I'm not speaking according to the prophetic word. No, I'm just analyzing current politics. We still have to wait and watch very carefully to get to know who God's chosen one is. Personally, I believe that Miguna is a Moses. I believe that Miguna is a Joshua. And I suspect he'll accomplish those roles. But it is very possible, not to have chosen my words carefully, it is possible that God could choose or has already chosen somebody else to sit on the throne. A David, somebody after his own heart. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Until next time, this is Kshs Kumekucha.